Alright guys, so welcome to today's episode of Sports with a Call, and today we are here with Yaw Ampo Jr. to talk about the Blackstars exit out of the current World Cup. I mean, it's very bad, so we can get to hear from Yaw what he thinks about the squad going into the next African Cup and going into the next World Cup to come. So Yaw, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Yaw Ampo Jr. Basically, that's my band name, even though it's a part of my name, but my full name is Daniel Ampofo, but I'd say Yaw. Yes, it's something I like. I'm Yaw Ampo Jr. for short. I scored it in Fantepem, work with Adoa TV. As a sports journalist, I write a couple of articles for foreign portals occasionally because I don't have the time so much, but yeah. What else?
Alright, so what would you have to say about sports journalism and what you do as a sports journalist?
Okay, so I find myself in the digital world, so I go beyond my TV channel or where I work for. I try to inform people on social media what's really trending. If I find a discussion on a subject I disagree with, I often don't go and say, yo, you are wrong or this. I just put out a tweet on my page, not to say you are wrong, but I try to inform people on what the accurate news is, and yeah, we try.
Alright, so I've been on a lot of spaces with you where I didn't more or less side with certain things you shared on Twitter, but that's all fine. So let's get into today's video. Let's talk about the Blackstars. Let's talk about, the sad story, of course. So let's start with. Alright, bro. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon, bro. What's up?
Yeah, I'm good. So today we get to talk about the Blackstars. We just left the competition yesterday, so obviously the fans have a lot to say about the Blackstars, and you can get to say what you also think about the Blackstars. Hopefully you have more since you are already in the sports field. So I'd like to ask a few things and what our fans would like to know. So bro, what do you think about the coach's words this morning?
Well, we knew he was going to leave anyway. He didn't hide the fact that he had a job with Dortmund and still took the Blackstars job too. He was pretty straightforward with his reaction to the questioning and everything that the journalist had asked him. He wanted out, or even better, you can put it this way. He had resigned from the job, and it was in the mind of every Ghanaian, something many journalists complained about, that the manager will leave, especially when you are building a project. And with what we've seen at the World Cup, we still feel to can do a good job with the Blackstars, if given the long-term opportunity to do it. But it was an agreement between him and the FA. He still, like he stated, he has a family in Germany who sees his future with Dortmund. Even myself, I think maybe Otto will be better in the next maybe 5 years, come back to the Blackstars and come and do a good work. But if there was anyone who made a wrong decision in bringing Otto Addo, there will be the Ghana Football Association, because they flew to Germany to try convince him to come coach the Blackstars. But regardless, I think qualification to the World Cup was one of the biggest achievements, and Otto Addo masterminded the two leg of games against Nigeria, got through to the Mundial, and it wasn't really a bad performance in the Mundial, but when you look at his numbers when it comes to the Blackstars, it's not exactly impressive, but he's a huge prospect we can look at in the future.
Alright, so would you say he got the job for the World Cup out of excitement of Ghanaians and the GFA board?
Well, the GFA wanted to give someone who was young, and also not exactly who was young, but also when they visited the presidency, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo mentioned that we can give Otto the job, make sure that we qualify. We had already qualified to the World Cup when he was given the job, and then give him on the interim basis after the World Cup. We can really think about the future of the Blackstars, or whether or not you are going to build a project, or whatever the association wanted to do with the Blackstars. So it was pretty straightforward with the backing of the presidency anyway, because at the long run they are the ones paying the coaches, so they definitely have a say. You look at the FIFA, what FIFA stipulates in their regulations, and it always goes back to the fact that there should be a form of understanding between the ministry and then the association. So bringing Otto with the backing of the president was something both had agreed on, even though it was the Ghana Football Association who pushed more for Otuado instead of other managers. So I don't think it's far off from what we think it will be. Yeah.
All right. So currently we have a lot of 90% of our Black Stars squad are young players. What do you think about the young guys in the team currently?
They are the future. What we've seen from the young guys, Salis Abdul Samed, Mohamed Kudus, even Kamaldin, who had only 58 minutes at the World Cup. Atizigi is also very young. There is Tariq Lamptey, also very young. Ali Desaid, also very young. So all these players are huge prospects we can build on from the last 5 years. Look at the squad being released by Otuado, who is the head coach, the 55-man squad, and it was basically a pool of players that the association has been picking from in the last 5 years, under CK, under Milovan, and then even Otuado. So I think the association is trying to build a pool where they look at a common identity the players can build from, and the managers can pick from. So if you have this core, this foundation, and we open it up to maybe 20 more players to be able to come in and then, strengthen certain departments that we need to strengthen. As we try to fade the old guys out of the national team, then will be a really good pool of players that whoever comes in will be easy for him to succeed.
All right. So let's talk about the Ayu brothers, because they are the ones who actually experienced the previous World Cup exit. What do you think about is their future in the Black Stars currently?
Well, Dede is the oldest, still the captain of the Black Stars. I know Dede definitely want to be part of the team for at least the last AFCON. He knows his age is catching up. Jordan still can have 2-3 years with the Black Stars. It's highly dependent on them. They can even choose to retire next year. Anything is dependent on them. One thing I've not seen with the Black Stars players is calm back out. Like, you have players deciding I feel I'm this age, and like Victor Moses did with Nigeria, no qualms, just decided, see, I'm this age, I'm 31, I'm 32, I want to move out from the national team, give younger guys the opportunity of playing the national team and making a name for themselves. If it happens like that, then every Ghanaian will pay huge respects to them. Like we have seen in previous with previous players with the Black Stars, it shouldn't be the case of we are forcing you out of the national team. I think Dede and Jordan will definitely look at the next AFCON coming up and say, maybe it's my last tournament. But football is like that, and certain players, the coaches have to make drastic decisions if these players do not want to fade out, and if Ghanaians do not really want you out. And if Ghanaians really do want you out, then with regards to your performance, it has to play with your performance, because if you are performing at your club side, then they do not have any option than to pick you on, or even better, give you a call back into the national team. But as it stands, Ghanaians are not really happy with them. It's quite understandable given the fact that they didn't really perform at the World Cup.
All right. So don't you think Dede would resign from the Black Stars after the miss?
After the next AFCON, yes, that's highly possible. Let's even give it 70% possible. Dede Ayew say it's done. Especially if we win the next AFCON, I definitely know Dede Ayew say, well, I'm done and dusted with the Black Stars, because he wants so much glory for the Black Stars. He's one who has, showed the zeal, the willingness to be able to, or he wants to do something for the team. You see it in this game, and for everything he has achieved with the national team at various levels, I know definitely he wants to do something for Ghana. So maybe the next AFCON will be his last bite for the national team.
All right. So what do you think about the GFA's constant involvement in the Black Stars? There's a school of thoughts by mostly Ghanaians talking about how involved they are in even the collapse of the Black Stars. What do you think about these decisions from the top to the coaches and to the players and all that?
Well, it's pretty interesting how they find a way to get involved with the national team. They have to make a clear statement that maybe going forward we are not going to involve ourselves in the decisions of the coaches. Give the technical body freedom to be able to work. Then when you are away from all this controversies, then Ghanaians can really say, yeah, of course, this time it is only the manager's wishes that. But you listen to Keto Kreku some time back speaking about the Black Stars. It's not likely that anything of that sort is going to end now, and they feel they still have to be in consultation with the coaches to be able to pick players, which for many associations is very wrong. In modernity wise, it's very wrong. That is an archaic way, in my opinion. But I think maybe in the future, if there is a huge back and a huge manager who comes to coach the Black Stars and won't listen and will make public whatever decisions of or the associations, if the association forces them to make or they are pressurized to make certain decisions, if whoever becomes a manager has the zeal and power to be able to come out and say it will be really good if the media knows that this player has been forced on me, and that will really deter the association from making such moves. But as it stands, it will be very difficult for it to change.
All right, talking about players being forced on coaches, what do you think of CK Akono's words prior to the World Cup? Talking about his misunderstandings with the JFA and all that.
Every Ghanaian knows the connection, like I stated earlier in my submission, that the association wants to get involved. The association wants to be informed. So the correct word to be used is here is to be informed. The association wants to be informed on whatever decisions the technical body will make. But what we do wrong here in our system is, in as much as we are getting to know which player is being picked, we are also suggesting some players to be picked. So naturally, in the system of football, you inform them that this is my decision, and they do not force anyone on you because you are the manager and you have been hired to do your job. But here, when you inform them of your decision, they bring in players. But CK's scenario is very, very difficult to explain. CK was hard. Every journalist here in Ghana who's followed the local league would know CK was hard on, and we didn't really understand what was going on. And when CK was in charge, we felt he was a bit unfair to Ghanaians by not letting us know what exactly was going on behind the scenes. We felt CK, we know you are a disciplinarian. You can come out and say certain words, but sometimes you have to understand these managers because their contract is binding, and it does not really allow them to, voice out their opinions on the national team, unless, of course, they are out of their position. And it is not really good for Ghana if this continues to go on. We demand change. We demand the association to do things the right way, and that will, if they're able to do and give freedom to the managers or the coaches to be able to pick and select the right players with a good technical team, good talent ID, good analytics, I think that the Black Stars will go far in events.
All right. So we all know we all had problems with the collab of the Black Stars. Do you think the collab being made by Otuado was the best?
We see, if everyone in Ghana is given opportunity to pick players, definitely everyone they will have every single Ghanaian disagreeing in certain point. There are still quality Ghanaian players out there that we can look at. There are good options out there that we can look at. But I think what Otuado brought was a fairly decent squad, better than the squad that we sent to the AFCON, the last two editions of the AFCON. And then also quality-wise, they are better than what we saw under CK Akono's era and even Milovan Rajabak's era. So I say fair credits to Otuado for trying to bring everyone on board, together with Chris Hilton, who is a Blackstars technical advisor. So it's not really far off from what Ghanaians are expecting of the Blackstars, but we still feel we still have quality in the world we can tap into.
All right. So there's this thoughts being made. This World Cup, a lot of journalists, a lot of coaches said the form of players from their club side will make a big difference in a World Cup. You can talk of Bruno Fernandes, you can talk of Marcus Rashford, you can talk of Mbappe and all that. You can see their form just move right from the club side into the World Cup. Would you say on what would you say on Joseph Pinto's exclusion from the World Cup, where he had the best of forms more than any other winger in our team? What do you think?
Well, apart from the external issues regards to Pinto's omission from the Blackstars, I think managers can really make valid points in not picking certain players. If Otuado explained that it was a tactical decision, every Ghanaian will understand. But Otuado himself didn't want to explain. Sometimes managers do not find the exact words to explain certain decisions, then speculate more, or gives room for more speculations on off-field events that have warranted to this. But I think he's in good form. If the manager had explained he wanted inverted wingers more, and also we had good quality when it comes to wingers, because Osman Bukhari was in fine form. Apart from Fatah Ishaku, who is a project by the Ghana Football Association to integrate him into the Blackstars, I think all the other wingers were doing fairly good. Even though Pinto would have had a nod, I think the external issues really affected him.
All right. So who should be our next coach?
Very difficult to answer, but with Chris Hilton, I think he stand a fairly decent chance of getting the job if he wants it. I know Ghanaians are already discussing Javi Rene. Can we prize him out of Saudi national team? Very difficult. But again, Chris Hilton has been with the team for a very long time, at least for the last 6-7 months. So if the job is given to Chris Hilton, I think it won't be bad. He knows his stuff. He's a good developer when it comes to young talent. He's someone who can build and then in the future leave, and whoever comes in to replace him won't have difficulty. He has good understanding with the young players, and he loves to use them and then help develop their talent. So I think Chris will be the best option at assistant.
So would you say if the current technical team should be dissolved, don't you think Chris Hilton was involved? And even if he's a technical advisor, so probably he can give his advice on certain things that should be done, do you think he'll make something or more difference with this current team?
Oh yes, definitely. I know Chris has the pull power to even at least get us more players, more quality players, and also his philosophy, his system, his style of play, it's unique. I'm not saying he has a different style compared to other managers, but again, he knows his stuff. I think he can do some really good work with this national team. Now, in my mind, if Chris Hilton was manager of the Blackstars, would have sailed through. At least in the last game, would have pulled a draw. I say this without a doubt and I know for a fact that Chris Hilton knows how to grind results. And if he was the manager when the World Cup, or when Ghana was in the World Cup against Portugal, against Uruguay, I know for a fact Chris Hilton could have grinded at least a point to be able to qualify into the next round.
All right. So Ghanaian fans really went to Qatar. What do you think about the traveling fans? I mean, do you think Ghana really did well there by sending a lot of the Ghanaians to go support the Blackstars? And what do you think helped with the traveling fans and Qatar being able to accommodate all these guys to go support the Blackstars?
Already Ghanaians are, Ghanaians love to travel to Qatar. So I think about 40% or 50% of the fans you are seeing in Qatar already, and people who stay in Qatar, Ghanaians who stay in Qatar, and traveling to Qatar is quite easier compared to the US because it's visa free, especially to Ghanaians. So it's quite easy for anyone to travel to Qatar and get or as long as you can, you have Ghanaian passports and you can fly. Qatar will accommodate you as a fan. And I think the Ministry of Youth and Sports, together with Corporate Ghana, did a good work by giving a couple of fans tickets and influencers tickets to be able to fly to Qatar to support the Blackstars and cheer the Blackstars. So I think it was good work by the Ghana Football Association together with the Sports Ministry and government to at least put in effort to help those who wanted to travel to Qatar to watch and support the Blackstars.
All right. So, what do you think about African teams' performance in the World Cup? You can say Morocco has qualified and Cameroon. The rest of us are obviously not qualifying to the next. What do you think about the performance of African teams in this year's World Cup?
I think you have done pretty well, especially if you are looking at the next World Cup in perspective, because the next World Cup will have 9 African countries, and already Morocco is doing really well. There's Senegal also doing well in the World Cup at the moment, even without Sadio. So it's pretty good to see African countries doing well. It shows how we have developed over the years, infrastructure wise, talent ID wise, football systems and everything that will really help. We didn't have Algeria in the World Cup, we didn't have Egypt in the World Cup, and you look at the next World Cup, you really can tell that will be a really huge prospect for Africa if we have 9 slots in the World Cup.
All right, so we can talk about Morocco topping a group which has Belgium, which has Morocco, Croatia, Belgium, and then Canada. What do you think about this Moroccan team?
It's a team that have built over the years, and success meets preparedness. So they're a team that have prepared for a very long time. You look at the AFCON, they have always built a team that they felt could do well, and this is their year. They are, getting everything right, from infrastructure to, setting up talent ID systems in their teams. They already winning. They are the last CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup winners. Their women's were doing well. I think they did well in the CAF Women's Champions League.
Yeah.
And you look at their men's national team. Vahid, who was the manager, was ousted from the team. Even though he qualified them, a manager who won the CAF Champions League, dethroning Picho Mutumani, who had won it 2 times and was on a record. If he had won it for the 3rd time, would become one of the few managers and the only African manager to win the CAF Champions League 3 times. So, see, if you do everything right, then you can do well. And you look at from their goalkeeper, Yassine Bono, Hakim Ziyech, every player on the field plays for a big club, a top European club. And if you have everything intact with their good technical team, the understanding of data analytics, then you are good to go. And it's no surprise that they are doing so well on the world stage.
All right. So, what do you think about this year's World Cup being a shock? I mean, no team won all their matches in the group. What do you think about Germany and Belgium's non-qualification to the next round?
Oops. I think it was a big one. Big shock. Even though I wasn't surprised, the German team struggled, because I knew they were going to struggle, especially with the new system they have adopted under Hansi Flick. As Hansi wants the hard football direct, and then their opponent always found a way of getting goals in them. So it wasn't really far off. And their team is relatively young. They went into the tournament not to win the tournament, but also to start something, to build something, because this team is a fairly young team that they have tried to build. So you definitely know Germany are going to do their things right in the next 3 years and come back to USA to try and advance from what they've achieved so far in this. Even though they didn't achieve anything, it was a shambolic performance, but because they are youngsters, they definitely know they'll grind out the results in the future. It's a devastating result for them, but Germany always comes back and they do well.
All right. So what team currently Ghana we are out? What team would you pick or choose to win the World Cup?
Brazil, because I love Neymar so much. Like, Neymar is the truth. But if Ronaldo wins it, then I'll be happy, definitely, because I'm a Ronaldo fan anyway. But yes, I think it's going to be really, really tough, given the fact that there's Argentina still in there. And there's Croatia, there's England, who are likely to face France if they qualify to the next stage. Difficult games coming up, but let's see who wins. But I'm strongly tipping Brazil to go all out and win.
All right. So thank you, Yaw. Thanks for being on today's episode of Sports with a Call, and it's been an honor to be on this same seat with you to talk about the Blackstars. All right, so thank you guys for joining today's episode of Sports with a Call, and I think you enjoyed today's interview with Yaw Ampo Jr. here. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to enjoy more sports contents coming up. Thank you.